52, we are officially marking the 1-year anniversary of the newsletter. Anniversaries give us a great excuse to pause and reflect on the what and why of the work completed and the lessons that were learned. In issue 52, I'd like to go over what I've learned from shipping a weekly newsletter, reveal some metadata, and go over if maintaining a weekly newsletter was worth it. Why? The first question that should be answered about any decision is why. A strong why is the foundation upon which an abstract tower, and real ones for that matter, is built. Without knowing why you are doing something, failure will surely arrive, either through atrophy or through some immediate event. The whys of starting a newsletter for bramadams.dev included: can I publish something consistently that I'm proud of? Can I experiment with my writing style and become a better writer? Can I compete on the internet without having or maintaining a social media presence? And can I make money from writing prose and or code? At the start of the year of issues, I had no answers to any of these questions. Now I'm happy to say that I have answers to all of them. I'll be going over the results of these whys at the end of the post. First up, business details. It needn't be said that any endeavor, creative or otherwise, will eventually begin to need energy from outside of the system itself to power it. Initially, you as the provider will be providing the entire energy from your own resources. It will eat into your mind and your spirit and probably your pockets too. How much did I pay for the newsletter and my site? In 2023, I spent $300 on Ghost Pro. Google domain and my email address cost me about $12 annually, and my analytics provider, Plausible, cost me about $60 annually. There are other costs that are rounding errors against these three, but any person should be able to create a Ghost account and buy a custom domain and begin publishing today if they so choose. How much did I make this year? From my calculations, I've made roughly $400 since the genesis of the newsletter. That means I bet about $33 a month running the newsletter. Definitely not enough to support a life or even a newsletter, frankly, but being break even for what I pay to host and giving me the privilege to write weekly is a good start. In terms of growth and engagement, the open rate for the newsletter was around 52 to 54% this year. This has stayed consistent through the growth of the newsletter. Issue 1 was delivered to 29 people, and the last issue, issue 51, was delivered to 130 people. These opens matter less than the feedback that I have received, though. Over the year of publishing, I have received personal replies or direct messages from roughly 8 to 12 members of the community, depending on how you count, which means a lot, since writing and publishing said writing can often feel like pouring your soul into a black hole. The technical details. The existence of a weekly email newsletter implies at the very minimum that email software exists. There are many options to running a newsletter in 2024. I use Ghost because it is the only offering that made sense for me. I am a developer who wants customizability, so I can dive into the look, feel, and functionality of my site, but I did not want to have to manage the everything else parts of running a modern website, including email, user subscription billing and accounts, server management, SEO, mobile-first rendering, search, comments, etc. Being a writer as well means that I have to focus on writing. Developers with personal sites only end up writing 1 or 2 posts on their website per year, or forever for that matter, because of their insistence to own everything or to pay $0 in favor of spending hours of their lives reinventing the wheel. Writers suffer the opposite problem of becoming too dependent on the platform that they post to, without owning it, leaving them subject to the changes decided by developers who may or may not be sympathetic to their cause. Substack and Buttondown are popular options if you want to write without having control. Hugo and Next.js are popular options if you want to have control but not write. In my opinion, in the long term, you'll need both. But something is better than nothing, and perfect is the enemy of the good. On to the life lessons. So did I get any better at accomplishing my why as the year progressed? In terms of consistently, I have sufficiently proven to myself that not only can I indeed publish weekly, but I can publish hard things that make me think. I made a promise to myself and my readers, and I kept that promise to the best of my reasonable ability. This ability to speak and act on your truth is necessary for self-esteem. In terms of experimentation, the issues have become much more ambitious as they have evolved. Issues started out as a compilation of work that was done that week, as well as things that I found across the web that entertained me. Over the course of the year, the newsletter issues evolved into essays thousands of words long. This particular issue clocks in at over 2,500 words. By consolidating, reshaping, and not being afraid of failure, I have learned a lot about what it means to set goals and then take steps towards reality. And I have become a better writer as well. In terms of social media competition, I'd say the results were mediocre to good. No issue went viral outside perhaps of the well-read series ending up on the front page of Metafilter, but the growth has been slow and steady. As I have said before, I am much happier with the creative breadth and depth that I have achieved with the newsletter. I don't think that I could have done this by spending 24 hours a day arguing on Twitter or bragging on LinkedIn, or at the very least I would have created a very different experience. In terms of money, I have played around with certain posts being free and others being paid, etc. This hasn't worked out as I had hoped, and as a solo entrepreneur, efforts to make the newsletter profitable and sustainable are key to its continued existence. I have a plan going forward for the second year of issues to bring more revenue into the coffers while maintaining quality, adding discoverability, and not ceding any control, but we'll have to see how this plays out in year 2. So what does Season 2 of the bramadams.dev email newsletter look like? Heading into year 2, there's going to be some substantial changes, while other things stay the same. Going forward, the newsletter will include an audio-visual arm as well as the written arm. This is what you're seeing now. I wish to improve the profit margins as well, and to increase the discoverability of bramadams.dev for the next year. And to do that, I think I need to break into video. The videos will functionally feel a lot like the written version, with the advantage of not having to read them. In addition, a special new creation, Quo-Host, will be helping out. Starting with this issue, I will be taking a month off from newsletters. I need to write some scaffolding code for Season 2, and I need to get better on camera with the technology and resources I have access to. In addition, I am working on an exciting app called Quo-Host, a large language model podcast co-host that retrieves relevant quotes from books as you are talking in real time. Many of the lessons I'm taking into the building of Quo-Host were inspired by the lessons I've learned building this newsletter, including the importance of highlights inside of quotes, and that the creative process and final output is heavily influenced by the quality of material available for its creation. Finally, I want to slow down and take some time off. Unfortunately, I have some other projects in motion that prevent a true break from happening, but it is important to realize that work can never be done and productivity is merely a stream. We need lazy parts of the river, and we need rapids. Going forward from the return of the newsletter in issue 53, the newsletter will be video and text alternating. This means the newsletter will still be every week, but half of the weeks will be embedded YouTube videos and the other half will continue to be the essays you see now. Full videos will only be available to paid subscribers, but the first half will be free. This may or may not extend to the written version as well, but I doubt it. We'll see. Finally, I want to say thank you, dear reader, for sticking around. Writing is something that I feel compelled to do, much like we need to breathe, but having my writing be read by other humans helps complete its purpose, and for that, I am in your debt. I'll see you in a month. I'll finish this off with a quote. Quote, "Writing is motivated by an impulse not only to direct ideas, but also to direct them towards another. Only when a piece of writing reaches another, a reader, does it achieve this underlying intention. Writing is not only a reflective, inwardly directed gesture, but also an expressive, outwardly directed political gesture. One who writes expresses his own interior and at the same time outward to someone else." End quote. And this is from Does Writing Have a Future? One more quote from what I talk about when I talk about running. Quote, "I place the highest priority on the sort of life that allows me to focus on writing, not associating with all the people around me. I felt that the indispensable relationship that I should build in my life was not with a specific person, but with an unspecified number of readers. As long as I got my day-to-day life set so that the work was an improvement over the last, then many of the readers should welcome whatever life I chose for myself. Shouldn't this be my duty as a novelist and my top priority? My opinion hasn't really changed over the years. I can't see my reader's face, so in a sense it's a conceptual type of human relationship, but I've consistently considered this invisible, conceptual relationship to be the most important thing in my life. In other words, you can't please everybody." Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.